Hello listeners, and welcome to this week's recording of Boomerang. Team 5 this week is made up of Sadie, Susan, John and Rosemary, and our engineer is Aidan. The news this week is taken with permission from the West Lothian Courier dated the 5th of March 2026. As usual, the news will be broken into parts, and can I remind you that when you've listened to the whole recording, please post your wallet back to us from a post box and not the post office. Now we'll start with part 1 and the general news. And the first item is the headline item in the paper, and it is headed, Social Housing Crisis Nightmare. It was horrendous. Mum sues council over mould-ridden homes that left families sick and forced to sleep in the living room. A mum of 4 is suing her council over claims she was put in a series of mould and damp-ridden homes which left her family sick. Leanne McCulloch and her children moved into a property owned by West Lothian Council in July 2022. However, within weeks she began to notice mould in the kitchen and bathroom, which then spread to the bedrooms. Leanne and her oldest child, now 22, who already had asthma, saw their conditions worsen, and the family began to regularly develop chest infections requiring steroids and antibiotics. The issue became so bad at the 3-bed property in Stonyburn that the family were forced to sleep in the living room as the bedding and carpets were damp. Leanne, 41, was rehomed in Addiewell in December 2022, but claims that property was also mouldy. She took up her case against the council in March last year. She said it was horrendous. The carpets were wet, there were slugs in the cupboards, there was mould growing on the bed sheets, it was so damp. You could see the stain on the walls, but when we complained, the council just scraped it off and it reappeared again. Some of the windows had been nailed shut, so we couldn't ventilate the place. The boiler wasn't working, and we saw our health deteriorate. It's really terrible knowing that you're living in a place that's making your children sick. It was a temporary home that we were told we would have to live in for about 4 to 6 years. And I knew we just couldn't do that because it was so bad. I contacted a lawyer because I felt so messed around. After we left that place, we went to another, and it was covered in mould too. I think councils must be held to account and be forced to make these houses livable. Leanne now has launched legal action with Thompson solicitors against West Lothian Council. The law firm is seeking compensation in the region of £20,000 for the family. Kieran Smith, a partner with Thompson Solicitors Scotland, said, "My team will do everything we can to help Leanne get proper recompense for the ordeal which she and her children have suffered. The respiratory effects of damp and mould can cause illness and even death. Now, residents are protected by AWAB's law. It is named after Awab Ishak II, who died in 2020 after being exposed to mould in his home in Rochdale. We told recently how NHS worker Tony Blair is suing Queen's Cross Housing Association over claims a mould-ridden Glasgow flat ruined his health. A West Lothian Council spokesperson said, "We take any reports of damp and mould seriously and investigate any cases that are reported to us to try and identify the source and take appropriate action to address the issue. It is not appropriate for us to comment further on this case while legal action is ongoing." Shelter Scotland Director Alison Watson said, "No family should have to resort to legal action simply to have a safe house. A safe home isn't a luxury, it's the foundation that everything else depends on."
This article is headed, Praise as Pupils Claim Top Prize from UNICEF, and it's by Ross Thompson. Southdale Primary School and ELC in Armadale is to be awarded gold by UNICEF UK's Rights Respecting School programme. The Rights Respecting Schools Award is granted to schools that show commitment to promoting and realising children's rights and encouraging adults, children and young people to respect the rights of others in school. Gold is the highest accolade given by the UNICEF UK and shows a deep and thorough commitment to children's rights at all levels of school life. The UNICEF report highlighted that children's social and emotional well-being is a clear priority at Southdale, and relationships are rooted in dignity and mutual respect. The assessors were impressed that children use their understanding of children's rights to make meaningful action locally and globally through community-based projects and fundraising. Pupils have developed a Take What You Need trolley and Southdale Primary, which provides free food, health and sanitary items for all. The school's work on the Sustainable Development Goals was noted as further supporting pupils to understand their role as global citizens, helping them to connect local action to wider global issues and children's rights worldwide. Head teacher of Southdale Primary School, Vicky Fish, said, "Everyone at Southdale is incredibly proud to receive the Gold Award from UNICEF UK. We have all worked very hard over the last few years to ensure children's rights are at the heart of all we do." The school's former principal teacher, Sian Ramsey, praised the work of pupils throughout the years who have been part of the UNICEF leadership group. She said, "This has been an ongoing team effort in which many former pupils have been involved. This award wouldn't have been possible without their incredible pupil leadership, which helped build the foundation for us and raise the profile of children's rights with our whole school community."
Work continues to increase Borough Hall's profit margin by Stuart Somerville. No stone has been left unturned in a bid to make Linlithgow's Borough Halls profitable. That was a declaration from an education officer delivered to local councillor Pauline Orr during this week's budget debate in Livingston's Civic Centre chambers. Councillors heard earlier this month that a revised set of charges had been drawn up to help sell the historic building in the heart of the town as a wedding and events venue. Councillor Orr for the SNP asked, "Is the council now content that all reasonable action has been taken to increase income at the borough halls, or is there still some work to be done to make best use of facilities in order to maximise income potential?" Siobhan McGarty, a senior education officer, in whose department the remit for the venue lies, told the meeting there has been a considerable amount of work that has been done to try to maximise income. So, for example, the staff have looked at overtime expenditure, they have revised the cafe menu, they have looked at a revised package on offer so there is profit from what takes place. There's a whole list of things that have been done. They have not left any stone unturned to maximise profit. At an earlier meeting, the new charges were revealed, which will take the costs of hiring the borough halls as a full wedding venue to £4,500. Other price rises could include £40 for a 2-hour let of the garden room, rising to £60 at the weekend, with a commercial let costing from £110 to £130. Proposed charges for one hall for a wedding venue could rise to £750, while the weekend hire of 2 halls for a family celebration or wedding could rise to £1,000 and £2,000 respectively. The latter with minimum bar spend rules attached. The last 2 years' losses, or rather projected incomes of around £100,000, have failed to materialise, and this has prompted questions from all local councillors about the borough halls is managed by the Education Service. Greg Welsh, the head of the Education Service, said the price rises would be an income generator for West Lothian Council. He added the benchmarking that's been undertaken had been looking at wedding packages delivered in the private commercial industry, and they have been aligned to ensure that we get full cost recovery. Also noted on proposals, there is a minimum bar spend to ensure that full cost recovery is received, and then becoming an income generator beyond that.
Council tax payments confirmed by authority. This is a report from Stuart Somerville. The annual council tax for West Lothian households in Band D is set to rise to £1,627.59 after the 7.4% increase agreed by the full council. The budget agreement was less than the original proposed by the ruling minority Labour-led administration. And while many neighbouring councils have yet to make their final decision, it looks as if the county will remain at the lower end of the national scale. It is currently around 9th lowest out of 32 councils in Scotland. East Lothian Council also set its budget last week, opting for a 7.5% increase, well down on the 10% originally feared by residents there. For the Band D average, the West Lothian household will have to find an extra £9.34 a month or £2.16 a week. The 7.4% represents a rise of £112.14 a year from the 2025-26 bill of £1,545. The vast majority, at 62% of council taxpayers, will pay less than this, with average weekly increases from £1.44 to £1.92 in bands A to C. Those in homes in the highest bracket, band H, will see their council tax bill rise £274.74 to an annual charge of £3,987.60. This is an extra £22.90 a month. The council tax reduction scheme provides mitigation to those who cannot afford to pay the full amount. Answering a question from Conservative leader Councillor Damien Doran-Timpson, the Finance Director Alistair Black confirmed the CTRS would cost more than £11 million in the financial year. In West Lothian households, 74% of properties in West Lothian are in bands A to D. Of those band A to D properties, 47% of households are in receipt of a form of discount or exemption, and 16% of households in bands A to D are in receipt of CTRS. The council has to make total savings of £18.9 million over the next 2 years. Insufficient funding from the Scottish Government and rising costs are piling the pressure on funding. The money raised from the increase in council tax will be ploughed into the surging costs of adult and elderly social care packages for the most vulnerable and an investment in machinery and staffing to form a dedicated repairs team to tackle potholes. More vulnerable adults and older people need care and support, and an increasing number of people need more complex packages of care and for longer. The cost of providing social care is also increasing. West Lothian faces one of the fastest growing older populations in Scotland. It is expected that the number of over 75s in West Lothian will increase by 39% by 2028, compared to a national average of around 21%. This is creating unprecedented demand for social care packages, home care, residential care, and support for adults with complex needs. The additional council tax income will help avoid some of the most detrimental savings, which will be considered by the Integration Joint Board, which oversees social care. Around £4 million will go to these two areas in the next 2 years. There are no figures for next year's proposed rise, but it is expected to be less. The initial proposals put forward by the administration before the budget indicated 8.4% this year, with a lower percentage planned for 27-28. Addressing the full council leader Lawrence Fitzpatrick, the Labour group leader, said it was the toughest budget he had seen in 27 years in local government. He said, "We have to set a balanced budget each year, and this ensures that we can continue to provide vital local services to our community. We have a combination of increasing demand for services and higher costs of delivering the services."
This next item is headed, Get on board as a trainee technician. Lothian Buses has opened applications for the next generation of technicians to join its celebrated apprentice engineering programme, which has seen more than 150 professionals trained in the past decade. Open to those aged 16 and over with no upper age limit, the Apprentice Technician Programme provides participants with 4 years of hands-on training to acquire either an SCQF Level 7 in Heavy Goods and Public Service Vehicle Maintenance and Repair, or an SCQF Level 6 in Vehicle Body Repair and Alignment upon successful completion. Working in partnership with GTG, apprentices are given fantastic opportunities to develop their skill set in a modern, purpose-built centre, gain practical experience within Lothian's garages alongside knowledgeable and experienced colleagues, and earn a competitive wage while they learn. Graduates of the programme often stay on with Lothian as fully qualified technicians, embarking on successful and rewarding long-term careers. Dylan Dasty, Engineering Director for Lothian, said, "Our apprentice programme isn't just training engineers, it's shaping careers and future-proofing our business. Since the scheme was established, more than 150 apprentices have honed their skills here, many going on to thrive as fully qualified technicians, supervisors and managers. We're excited to welcome the next generation of talent to Lothian to help them build lasting, successful careers in our industry." Chloe Riddle completed her apprenticeship with Lothian in 2025 and is currently working as a qualified mechanic. Speaking of the impact the programme had on her, she said, "I tried college before applying for the apprenticeship, but I wasn't getting the hands-on experience I needed to be able to learn fully. This apprenticeship gave me what I needed. I'm so much more confident in myself now, and I always felt very supported throughout my apprenticeship. We were told there's no such thing as a stupid question, and there was always someone there to help. The deadline to apply to Lothian's apprenticeship programme is Friday, March the 27th. Visit gtg.co.uk to learn more and apply, or to speak to someone about application process or for any other information, please contact 0141 950 5600. And there is a lovely picture of Chloe in her overalls, ready for action.
MP Delight as two-kid cap set to be abolished. Almost 2,000 children in the Livingston constituency are set to benefit as legislation to abolish the two-child limit moves to its third reading in Parliament this week, marking the most significant step to reduce child poverty in a generation. The landmark bill, introduced by the UK government, will remove the two-child limit in universal credit, a policy that has pushed hundreds of thousands of children into poverty since its introduction in 2017. In Livingston, an estimated 1,990 children across 550 households will benefit directly from the change. Livingston MP Gregor Poynton said, "The two-child limit has punished working families and locked children out of opportunity through no fault of their own. Removing it is not just the right thing to do morally, it is the right thing to do economically. If we are serious about closing skills gaps, growing our economy and building a stronger country, we must start by giving every child a fair start." Mr. Poynton added that lifting children out of poverty is also a long-term investment in Britain's workforce. The move comes alongside wider action from the UK Labour government to ease pressure on family finances, including boosting the national living wage, cutting £150 from energy bills and freezing rail fares. He concluded, "Across the UK, employers face shortages in sectors like care, technology and skilled trades. Allowing hundreds of thousands of children to grow up in poverty damages their life chances and our economic future. By acting now, we are investing in a generation who will power our economy for decades to come. This is about giving children the foundation they need to succeed in school, build careers, and contribute fully to our community. For too long, families across the Livingston constituency and West Lothian have been held back by a policy that simply wasn't fair. This week, we move one step closer to setting it for good."
Additional Support Needs Centre set to be launched by Twin Sisters by Jacob Farr. Twin Sisters are set to launch a multifunctional play and educational centre for children with additional support needs, ASN. Mary McKinnon and Amy Johnson, both 36, claim Rainbow Rascals will be the first of its kind in Scotland. The mothers, who have over 19 years of hospitality experience behind them, were successful in gaining planning permission from West Lothian Council to change the use of 11A Oakbank Park Way, Livingston. Rainbow Rascals will act as a hub for inclusivity, where all children will feel welcome. Mary and Amy said they were motivated after seeing a lack of spaces available for families with ASN children who truly understood and catered to their needs. They hope to have the space open and operational later this year. Mary said, "We recognise the clear lack of inclusive spaces where all children feel welcomed, valued and supported. We saw how many families, particularly those with children who have ASN, struggle to find environments that truly understood and catered to their needs. There was also a noticeable gap in support for parents and carers who often felt isolated and unheard. Driven by our passion to make a difference, we created Rainbow Rascals as a safe, nurturing and supportive community hub where every child can thrive and every family feels understood, included and empowered. Our aim is to provide a welcoming environment that supports children of all abilities, while also empowering parents and carers. We want to build a community hub where families can connect, talk openly and support one another. Alongside play and learning opportunities for children, we plan to offer structured support sessions for parents and carers, addressing the challenges faced by both pre- and post-birth. This includes emotional well-being, parenting support and guidance during key development stages. A key focus of their project is education and awareness around ASN and specific disabilities. They said they want to deliver targeted sessions that help families understand different conditions, promote inclusion and provide practical strategies on how best to support and advocate for their children. Mary added, "Ultimately, our goal is to foster an inclusive, informed and supportive community where children thrive and families feel connected, confident and understood." Many families of children with additional support needs have shared that mainstream play spaces that can often be overwhelming with high noise levels, large crowds and limited understanding of sensory and communication needs. There is also a lack of tailored sessions and appropriate facilities that truly consider the day-to-day challenges ASM families face. Our space will address this by offering accessible facilities, clear visual aids and social stories before visiting to help children prepare, and structured smaller play sessions to reduce overstimulation. We are intentionally creating a calm, supportive environment designed around the needs of all children and their families, ensuring they feel understood, comfortable and fully included. Mary and Amy said they will be seeking experienced and qualified individuals or organisations who would like to deliver services within their setting that support ASN, as well as pre- and post-birth support for families. They added they are particularly interested in specialists who can offer expert advice, workshops and tailored sessions, supporting both children, parents and families.
And that brings us to the end of part 1. Welcome back to part 2, and we'll start with the family announcements.
Ainsley Alistair from Livingston. It is with great sadness that we announce the peaceful passing of Alistair Ainsley on Saturday, the 21st of February, at Edinburgh Royal Infirmary. Alistair will be dearly missed by his family, friends, and all who had the pleasure of knowing him. His funeral service will be held at West Lothian Crematorium on Wednesday, the 11th of March at 4 p.m. All who knew him are warmly invited to attend. Redmond Allison from Broxburn. Peacefully on the 20th of February 2026 at St John's Hospital, Livingston, Alison of Station Road, Broxburn. Beloved daughter of the late John and Helen Redmond, dear friend of Joyce, Mel and Colin of Walkerburn. Friend to many who will be missed by all who knew her. Private cremation at Alison's request, followed by a celebration of her life at Strathbrock and St Nicholas Church Hall on Thursday the 12th of March 2026 at 12 noon. All friends are respectfully invited. Family flowers only, please.
Award given for excellence at Five Sisters. Five Sisters Zoo have achieved a mark of excellence in the zoo and aquarium sector by being awarded BIAZA accredited status. This prestigious accreditation recognises that Five Sisters Zoo meets the world-class standards set by the British and Irish Association of Zoos and Aquariums, BIAZA, for the best zoos and aquariums in the UK and Ireland, confirming the zoo ranks among the leading collections in the country. The comprehensive accreditation process includes screenings by industry experts, questionnaires, and plenty of documented evidence. The process goes above and beyond the UK and Ireland's zoo licensing inspection and marks the extra effort of good zoos and aquariums in providing the very best in animal care and recognises their work to create a better planet for animals and people. Brian Curran, director of the Five Sisters Zoo, said, "We are thrilled to achieve BIAZA accredited status. This is a huge testament to our team's dedication to the welfare of our animals and our ongoing work to support conservation and education projects, both locally and internationally."
The next article is by Ross Thompson. It's entitled "Apprentice Jamie is Building Bright Future Thanks to Homes Firm." A West Lothian apprentice is proving that hard work, dedication and hands-on experience can make a real difference, both for his career and for the local community. 18-year-old Jamie Dempster from East Calder lives, works and trains in West Lothian. He is building his skills as a bricklayer while training at West Lothian College. Jamie, who is pictured, was first spotted by Persimmon Homes during a National Progression Awards course for aspiring builders, where his focus, enthusiasm and natural talent for the trade immediately stood out. Since joining Persimmon, Jamie has gained hands-on experience on several West Lothian sites, helping to construct high-quality, energy-efficient homes that are part of the company's efforts to tackle West Lothian's housing crisis. He plays a key role in delivering a 5-star finish to every home, ensuring families can move in with confidence and comfort. Jamie said, "I never imagined I'd be building homes in my own community so early in my career. Every day I'm learning something new, and knowing that my work will give families a place to call home makes it all worthwhile." Persimmon Homes is one of Scotland's largest employers of craft construction apprentices, investing in local talent like Jamie. By combining college learning with on-site experience, the company is helping the next generation of tradespeople gain the skills they need while delivering homes that West Lothian families can be proud of. Scottish Apprenticeship Week 2026 is running until Friday, March the 6th. Organised by Skills Development Scotland, the week is a national celebration aimed at highlighting how work-based learning benefits individuals, employers and the economy. Meanwhile, newly released data from the Chartered Institute of Building shows construction tops parents' preference for their child's career path, and apprenticeships are a popular choice over other routes such as university. A survey of parents of 16 to 24-year-olds across Scotland showed apprenticeships are their preferred career path for young people, while the construction industry specifically was among the top sectors, chosen by almost one-third, 29% of parents, for their children to work in, beating healthcare, 25%, and computing and technology, 24%. Apprenticeships were strongly favoured by parents, with nearly half of respondents, 45%, preferring this career path for their child ahead of university, 42%, and going directly into work, 23%. More than half of parents surveyed, 53%, they said they have discussed apprenticeships with their child, and nearly one-third, 32%, would prefer that their child earn while they learn.
This next item is headed "Author and Poet Donna Open Support Clinic" and is by Ross Thompson. Best-selling author and poet Donna Ashworth officially opened the Abercorn Clinic, marking a major milestone in local mental health and neurodevelopmental support services. The private clinic, located in Livingston, has launched to provide rapid access to specialist psychological care for children, adults, families and couples across the region and beyond. The ribbon-cutting ceremony celebrated the opening of the modern, purpose-refurbished clinic, which has been designed to offer a calm and professional environment for therapeutic work. While Abercorn Clinic introduces a fresh, independent identity to West Lothian, it is underpinned by the extensive heritage of the Moore House Group. The clinic's team bring nearly 4 decades of clinical expertise from within the group, offering a unique combination of high-standard clinical space backed by a long-standing reputation for excellence. Patricia Sheridan, founder and managing director of Moore House Group and Abercorn Clinic, expressed her pride in the expansion of the organisation's reach. She noted that the opening of the clinic represents a significant commitment to improving accessibility for those in need of specialist intervention. Dr. Stephen Drysdale, Clinical Director of Abercorn Clinic and CEO of Moore House Group, highlighted the importance of this new chapter for the team. Having been a part of Moore House Group for 20 years, Dr. Drysdale noted that the clinic represents the culmination of decades of dedicated work in the sector. He stated that the goal was to create a dedicated space where the team's deep expertise could be shared more broadly with the community, ensuring that individuals and families can access high-quality psychological support when they need it. Stephanie McQuillan, Head of Clinical Operations, who has been with the team since 2014, described the launch as a natural evolution. She noted that after years of refining their specialist approach, the new clinic allows them to bring high-calibre care to the wider public in a contemporary space that is both welcoming and entirely accessible. Miss McQuillan added that having Donna Ashworth open the doors was a perfect fit, as her work reflects the same themes of mental health and self-compassion that are at the heart of the service. The clinic offers a comprehensive range of evidence-based support, including specialist evaluations for ASD and ADHD, as well as cognitive and educational assessments. While the physical clinic serves as a central hub for the West Lothian community, the team is also able to support clinics nationally through the provision of flexible online appointment options. For more information or to book an appointment, please visit www.abercorn.org.uk or contact the Abercorn Clinic directly.
Lib Dem Sally opts to abstain on budget vote, and this is by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian's minority Labour-led coalition lost one supporter for its budget last week. Linlithgow Lib Dem Sally Pattle abstained, refusing to back either the Labour budget or the SNP's alternative proposals. Councillor Pattle told the local Democracy Reporting Service that the budget didn't represent the best we can do for residents or businesses. She called the proposals short-term sticking plaster politics. The administration scraped through home its budget with support from independent Andrew Maguire and the newly elected Reform UK councillor David McLennan. Speaking to the LDRS after the budget meeting, Councillor Pattle highlighted 2 key areas: the removal of cross-border funding for private nursery places and the effects of potential enforcement fines on businesses. She said, "I think it's clear we all understand the perilous state our finances are in. We heard firsthand from parents who will be affected by the loss of cross-border funding for private nursery places, who gave us incredibly powerful testimony about the real-world impact that decisions we are being forced into making are having on families and our young people. That's why I believe the budget passed does not represent the best that we can do for our residents or for business." Councillor Pattle added, "There is a lot I agree with. The Liberal Democrats welcome the much-needed investment in repairing the dreadful state of our roads, the priority given to protecting and enhancing adult social care provision by investing in the Integrated Joint Board, and the commitment to looking after further increasing council tax on second homes to 200%. But the sole Lib Dem on the council said there was much more that could have been done. She echoed criticism made during the meeting by the opposition MSP group, which slated Labour for stalling the introduction of decriminalised parking enforcement, DPE, first called for by the SNP in 2019. Councillor Patel added, there is a lack of urgency in getting decriminalised parking enforcement over the line so we can tackle the illegal parking plaguing our town centres. There is no provision for developing a long-term tourism strategy so we can capitalise on West Lothian's world-class heritage assets. And I, like others, will be keenly monitoring the impact of the community centre review once it comes into effect in April 2026. Core to her objections were the potential threat of enforcement. I remain deeply concerned about the implications of the planned enforcement action on the business community. As I said last week during the Council Executive meeting, I welcome the introduction of the Litter Prevention Action Plan, but I feel the policy regarding trade waste has not been sufficiently developed. The West Lothian Liberal Democrats are calling for a working group formed of officers, elected members and representatives from trade waste operators and the business community with a remit to develop locally based policies for town centres, retail parks and industrial estates, as well as understanding the challenges faced by both operators and businesses with regard to collections and any potential procurement improvements. The Liberal Democrats suggested that in addition to marketing country parks as event venues, the council should look at introducing car parking charges at a rate of 50 pence per vehicle per day. In 2025, approximately 399,000 vehicles visited our 3 country parks. That's potential income generation of 194,000. Fellow councillor Pauline Orr of the SNP asked how much of a projected £80,000 income will be enforcement collection and how much will be country parks. David Mole, the head of operated services, told councillor, the savings of £80,000 is an estimate of the additional income we feel is achievable in NETs, the Neighbourhood Environment Teams, over and above the inflationary uplift in fees and charges. It takes into account the following income performance in particular from our caravanning and camping facilities, potential new income streams across our 3 new country parks, and as members are aware we are undertaking a marketing exercise and the potential for income from enforcement activity with the emphasis on income from fly tipping and fixed penalty notices as we expand our CCTV. There is not an individual breakdown of those 3 components, but we feel that £80,000 collectively is an achievable figure.
New Wicket dream as cricket club secures £10,000 for league entry. By Ross Thompson. Winchborough Cricket Club celebrated its phenomenal first year by revealing its ambitious plans, having secured entry into the East of Scotland Cricket League. The event was attended by former Scottish cricket captain George Salmond and CEO of Cricket Scotland Trudy Lindblade. Having grown from a single social media post into a thriving community organisation with 70 members in just 4 weeks, the club, which serves as a case study in the importance of sport in building a sense of community and large-scale new developments, has successfully secured a total funding package to install a new wicket. The funders are the Cricket Development Trust Scotland and Winchborough Developments Limited, along with the club members themselves, raising over £2,100 from its own membership in less than a fortnight. The club's journey began organically when a resident, Vera Jararmaman, posted in a local community Facebook and WhatsApp group, simply looking for people to play casual softball cricket. With a month, the group surged to 70 members, ranging in age from 8 to over 50, and representing a diverse mix of backgrounds, including residents originally from India, Pakistan, and South Africa. The initial goal was not to start a club, but just to gather people to play, said Vera, who is now the club chairman. The response was amazing. We went from nothing to 70 members in a month, and for our first match, we had 30 people turn up midweek. It has created an immediate sense of community. I can't go to the local shop without meeting someone who wants to talk about cricket. This rapid growth led to the discovery of a dedicated cricket pitch within Old Cathay Park, which had been designed into the landscape by Winchborough Developments. Winchborough Developments, in their delivery of the master plan, invested resources into creating infrastructure for the community to enjoy, recognising the power of sport to connect new residents and help them build a sense of community. This latest development led to Winchborough Developments Limited supporting the club to transform the area from a basic playing field suitable for cricket to one which will include an artificial wicket and an outfield manicured for the purpose of playing cricket. The club demonstrated its extraordinary commitment by raising £2,132 from its own members in just 2 weeks. This internal fundraising was a critical factor in securing an £8,000 grant from the Cricket Development Trust. The club's demonstration of self-funding was incredible, said Penny Lockhead, the Community Sport and Green Space Manager for Winchborough Developments Limited. The volunteers have worked closely with me to get everything in place, and that has made it easier for us to help fund their dream, along with the success announced today of achieving funding from the Cricket Development Trust Scotland. We are delighted to see the support they have gained, and they deserve the recognition they are getting today. Commenting on the grant award announced at the club launch, Trustee Alistair Robertson from Cricket Development Trust said, "We are delighted to have been able to support Winchborough CC and the development of cricket at Old Cathay Park. This is an exciting project providing opportunity and potential to grow the game, fitting perfectly with our key aims. We are particularly excited to be backing a club so new to the sport. This is thought to be only the second launch of a brand new cricket club and facility in Scotland in the 21st century, and to mark the occasion, former Scotland captain George Salmond was a guest to mark the opening of the new ground." The launch event also gained the support from Cricket Scotland CEO Trudy Lindblade. She said, "This is an astounding example of how sustainable community sport can be established and flourish. From a simple message to the community last summer, Winchborough Cricket Club has grown through enthusiasm, hard work and a shared commitment to cricket. We thank Winchborough Developments Limited for the foresight shown through community consultation in incorporating a cricket field within their development plans, ensuring facilities reflect and serve local community needs from the outset and deliver long-term benefit. We look forward to working alongside the club as it establishes itself and contributes to the meaningful future of Scottish cricket." The club asked Sinclair Academy and Winchborough Academy pupils to help them design a new logo for the club that have reflected their values of inclusivity, courage, discipline and community. After an incredible response to the request, the club shortlisted 4 amazing designs which have formed a brand new logo that incorporates the best of each of the shortlisted designs. In addition to joining the East of Scotland Cricket Association, ESCA League structure for men's cricket in 2026, they are exploring the beginnings of organised women's and junior cricket.
Next article is titled "Waits in A&E Blasted as Stats Viewed." The Scottish Government has come under fire over appalling waiting times in A&E departments. The Conservatives claimed that under the SNP, thousands of patients are languishing in overcrowded A&E departments every single day, and warned that long waits for treatment can cost lives. They criticised the latest official figures, which showed that 62.7% of those who went to A&E for treatment in the week ending February 15 were seen and either admitted, transferred or discharged within 4 hours. The figure is an improvement from the previous week's performance of 61.3%, but still continues to be well below the Scottish Government target of having 95% of patients admitted, transferred or discharged within 4 hours. A total of 3,783 people, which is 14% of cases, spent 8 hours or more in A&E in the week ending February 15. This includes 1,873 patients, which is 7.3% of cases, who were there for a minimum of 12 hours. The figures, however, showed the number of patients having these long waits was down from the previous week. Scottish Conservative health spokesman Dr Sandesh Gulhane said SNP ministers should hang their heads in shame at these appalling statistics. Meanwhile, Labour health spokeswoman Jackie Bailey said, "There is no way this can be dressed up as anything other than a total failure, with thousands of patients still waiting for hours on end in A&E departments to get help." Scottish Liberal Democrat leader Alex Cole-Hamilton added, "You cannot fix the NHS and bring down the A&E waits without fixing social care." A spokesperson for the Scottish Government said £220 million had been committed in order to reduce waiting times. They added, "We are also seeing higher numbers of A&E attendances compared to the same time last year. This situation is not unique to Scotland."
And that brings us to the end of part 2. Welcome back to part 3, which includes the quiz. Please remember to listen in at the start of part 4 for the answers to the quiz. Right, brains engaged. Let's see how you do. 10 questions coming up. Number 1. Who directed the 1996 film Trainspotting? A. Guy Ritchie, B. Danny Boyle, C. Ken Loach. Number 2. In football, which country beat France in the final of the 2006 FIFA World Cup? A. Italy, B. Spain, C. Germany. Number 3. Heraklion is the capital of which Mediterranean island? A. Malta, B. Corfu, C. Crete. Number 4. What is zucchini the American word for? A. Courgette, B. Banana, C. Avocado. Number 5. Which singer reached the top of the UK singles charts in 2004 with Mysterious Girl? A. Lamar, B. Peter Andre, C. Ronan Keating. Number 6. What is the capital city of the Philippines? A. Shanghai, B. Manila, C. Kuala Lumpur. Number 7. The adjective Ophidian, and that's spelled Ophidian, Ophidian, relates to which type of creature? A. Snake, B. Sheep, C. Owl. Number 8. Which American golfer was nicknamed the Hawk? A. Ben Hogan, B. Walter Hagen, C. Arnold Palmer. Number 9. Which king was the paternal grandfather of Queen Elizabeth II? A. George VI, B. Edward VII, C. George V. And the final question, number 10, which character in Coronation Street is played by Alan Halsall? A. Tyrone Dobbs, B. Chesney Brown, C. Kevin Webster. Good luck, everyone. And our little word challenge. Right, our words today. The first word is La Volta. Not Travolta, but La Volta. Lavolta. Is it A. an ancient dance, B. an extravagant outpouring, or C. edible seaweed? And our other word is carouse. Carouse. Does it mean A. reddish yellow pigment, B. drink freely and noisily, or C. tilting match or tournament? Good luck, everyone. And now we continue with the general news. And this item is one giving the... Sorry, can I read that a wee bit again? Item is one telling of the work done by Lynburn Centre for Veterans. The heading is, "The Lynburn Centre helped me believe in life again." For veterans facing the challenges of visual impairment, life can feel overwhelming and isolating. But at Sight Scotland Veterans Lynburn Centre in West Lothian, veterans are finding more than support. They're rediscovering the joy of living. Ian Baker, 56, from West Lothian, who served in the Royal Air Force, says coming to Lynburn has completely turned his life around. He explains, "I've been supported by Sight Scotland veterans for nearly 2 years now, and I absolutely love coming to the Lynburn Centre. It's changed my life. I have a medical condition called myasthenia gravis, an autoimmune disorder that affects the nerves and muscles throughout the body. Unfortunately, it's had a big impact on my eyes, and my vision is slowly deteriorating. I come to the Lynburn Centre twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays and take part in a range of activities like bracelet making, paracord tying, acoustic shooting, indoor curling and bowls. These are things I never thought I would do again. Playing bowls here gave me the motivation to join my local bowling club, and I have just finished my first season with them. It's been brilliant meeting new friends. The staff are amazing and nothing is ever too much for them. Honestly, they've saved me. Without this place, I'd be stuck at home doing nothing." Sight Scotland Veterans Lynburn Centre in West Lothian is a true lifeline for local veterans living with a visual impairment. Our dedicated team works tirelessly to combat isolation, boost confidence and enhance well-being. Every day, the centre is alive with activity, from woodwork and arts and crafts to IT, archery and acoustic shooting. There's something for everyone. And it's not just about activities. We also provide practical support through drop-in sessions with rehabilitation specialists and financial well-being advisors, ensuring veterans have access to the help they need. Are you a veteran living with visual impairment in the West Lothian area, or do you know someone who could benefit from our support? Call today on 0800 035 6409 or visit sightscotlandveterans.org.uk.
This article by Stuart Somerville highlights the worry over an accident black spot. Villagers in West Lothian fear a 3-month road closure will lead to more accidents on their doorstep. Commuter traffic from the main A70 Lang Hwang Road to Edinburgh is being diverted through Harburn to the A71 at West Calder. Local Community Councillor Alan McLaughlin told a council meeting of fears of more accidents at the railway bridge in the village. New safety signs have been installed on both sides of the Humpback Bridge. The narrow winding B7008 road takes a sharp, almost 90-degree turn on the southern side of the bridge over the Carstairs to Edinburgh railway line. The approach to the bridge from the north is uphill. There have been several accidents at the site, with drivers unfamiliar with the route colliding with crash barriers, unprepared for the right tight bend. In one of the most graphic accidents, a driver from the Midlands crashed his delivery van several feet down into a field after vaulting the already damaged crash barrier last year. Villagers have frequently helped extricate drivers from crashed cars on both sides of the bridge. New road markings emphasise the hazard, but the danger lies in the fact that much of the road is 60 miles an hour, and many drivers unfamiliar are directed by sat-nav systems to the road as a shortcut to and from Livingston. Road Network Manager Kenneth Brown told a meeting of Fauldhouse and the Breich Valley Local Area Committee that resurfacing work on the road is scheduled to begin in the summer. The work will include road alignment and anti-skid surfacing. Chairing the meeting, Councillor Craig Meek asked, "How confident are we that the work will go ahead this summer?" "Very confident," replied Mr Brown. Mr McLaughlin told the meeting that villagers were happy with the work that had been done so far, but highlighted that the newly installed crash barrier had been broken twice and had yet to be repaired, and some road markings had already started to wear out. There have been concerns raised. The resurfacing on the A70 between Harburn Road End and Kirknewton Road End means there's going to be a lot of traffic coming down into Harburn. There will be a lot more people driving in a silly way. It's not the cars that are daft, it's the folk driving them. It would be good if repairs could be done in place before the extra traffic starts using the road. Drivers using the A70 will be directed towards the 871 towards West Calder for a maximum of 12 weeks. Mr Brown said there would be major resurfacing of the road from West Calder to the Crossroads Junction with a C road which leads west to Bent Head and East Brucefield Industrial Estate on the edge of Livingston. Additional safety work and resurfacing will take place at the railway bridge at the same time. In a report to Councillor Graham Burton, the Council's design engineer manager said, "The remaining design document will be prepared in the coming weeks with a view to completing the work during summer this year. Exact times are not possible at this stage, as this is subject to availability of the appointed contractor."
Second suspect charged. Article by Gemma Ryder. A second man has been arrested and charged after a man was found dead in a house in West Lothian. Police were called out to the property in Gilchrist Crescent, Whitburn, just days before Christmas on the 19th of December last year. Officers had received reports of concern for a 56-year-old man who was injured at the property. When mercy crews arrived at the home, the man was pronounced dead at the scene. The force has named him as Gregors Bialy and confirmed at the time that his next of kin had been informed. Rafal Naivots was arrested and charged in connection with the death. A 48-year-old from Whitburn appeared in Livingston Sheriff Court on Monday, December the 22nd, charged with murder and breach of bail conditions. He entered no plea and was remanded in custody. A second man has now been charged in connection with the man's death. Jonas Vezersk, 43, of Whitburn, appeared in private at an appearance at Livingston Sheriff Court on Monday, March the 2nd, and was charged with murder. He entered no plea and was remanded in custody. He will appear again later at a later date.
The next headline reads, "Norrie's Heart Battle Inspires Black Belt Win." This is written by Ellie Farker. Ferrying his kids to and from judo classes and competitions, Dad Norrie Cameron started to think about taking up the martial art himself. But before he could set foot on the mat, he found out he had a heart condition that had been there since birth. While he's dreamed of joining his kids Stella, now 15, and 14-year-old Monroe in their club, his health took an unexpected turn, and he learned he would have to endure major surgeries to fix his damaged heart. After a long recovery, Norrie's kids continued to encourage him to take up judo. And despite his health issues, 5 years later, the 49-year-old is celebrating achieving his first Dan, a black belt in judo. For years, Norrie and wife Charlotte have, like many parents, been kept busy taxiing their children to and from their favourite after-school activities. With judo being a particular passion for the pair, Norrie from Livingston could typically be found in the gym watching his young kids train. He recalled, "When it was my turn to do the judo run, I'd sit and watch their coach, Ramsey Thompson, show them really technical drills, which really drew my interest. A few people mentioned that I should take part, but I always thought I was too old. However, as his youngsters flew through the competitive stages, Norrie shared that he wanted also to take up the sport to truly understand the activity his kids loved so much. He said, "I decided I'd take it up so I could better understand the rules and, more importantly, be a supportive parent, understanding exactly how challenging it can be." Sadly, however, before Norrie could even step a foot onto the mat, his health took an unexpected turn. In 2019, while suffering from a chest infection, it was discovered that Norrie had a previously undiagnosed heart murmur, which is an extra unusual sound in the heartbeat. While British Heart Foundation states that some murmurs can be harmless, it does warn that it could be a sign of a heart problem. In Norrie's case, further investigation found that his aortic valve had been damaged since he was born. According to the NHS, the aortic valve controls the blood flow from one of the bottom chambers of the heart to the top, which then flows into the rest of the body. This is done in a one-way system, with the valve opening up to allow blood to flow from the heart before closing to stop any blood leaking back in. Following his diagnosis, Norrie underwent 2 open heart surgeries, which included the Ozaki procedure to replace his aortic valve. While these operations took place during the COVID pandemic in 2020, they have allowed Norrie to remain active. Speaking about the procedures, the 50-year-old said, "I was told it was fortunate it had been discovered when it was, as if left untreated, it could have been fatal." Throughout his recovery, Norrie said that walking played a central role as it helped him rebuild his cardiovascular health as well as keeping his mental health in a motivated and positive mindset. Walking also allowed his family to provide him with support. Norrie said, "It allowed me to include the kids and the rest of the family in my recovery, with regular walks in the Pentland Hills in all weathers. Regardless of the conditions, the focus and motivation was always there to get it done." Once Norrie had recovered, he was encouraged by his children, along with their coach, to give judo a shot. Before using the martial art to help rebuild his physical and mental strength, Norrie consulted medical professionals. "I spoke to my cardiologist at the Golden Jubilee Hospital and was told to go ahead, but he said, 'Don't go bananas.' So that's what I've done." Now, 5 years on, Norrie is celebrating achieving his first dan, a black belt in judo. Throughout his training, he revealed that very few people knew about his medical history. He explained, "No one knew apart from my close friends, family and coach. I didn't want to worry people. For me, this has never been about proving anything. It's about resilience. It's about showing the kids that setbacks don't define you and that perseverance, remaining positive and disciplined really matter." Norrie added, "For me, this is not a personal milestone. It's about showing that after a major setback, you can rebuild, keep moving forward and take on new challenges." Norrie is supporting the British Heart Foundation's Walk for Hearts, a virtual fundraising challenge to walk 28, 50 or 100 miles. Walking helped Norrie's cardiac fitness, and research shows that being physically active, including regular exercises, reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease by up to 35%. Ruth Goss, senior cardiac nurse at BHF, said, "Walking is a great way for everyone to weave exercise into their daily routines and help look after their cardiovascular health."
This next item is headed "Racked School Plea by Lib Dems" and is by Ross Thompson. The Scottish Liberal Democrats have condemned the Scottish Government's neglect of school buildings across Scotland, drawing particular attention to the funding crisis for the rebuild of St Kentigern's Academy in Blackburn. St Kent's was built using reinforced concrete in the 1970s, and safety concerns mean that a £35 million rebuild is now underway. West Lothian Council taxpayers can fund £20 million, but West Lothian Council has asked the Scottish Government to fund the remaining £15 million. Stephen Hart, Scottish Lib Dem candidate for Bathgate in May and former pupil of St Kent's, told Lib Dem Party Conference the Scottish Government has refused to help fund the St Kent's rebuild and instead trots out tired old constitutional arguments blaming Westminster as usual rather than taking responsibility for Scottish education. Having local SNP MSPs has made no difference at all. If the SNP are serious about representing West Lothian in May, I call for their candidates to join the cross-party campaign for fair funding for the St Kent rebuild. Sharing her disappointment at the lack of action from the SNP, Karen Lindsay, Scottish Lib Dem candidate for Almond Valley, has reminded West Lothian voters we can vote for change in May. By voting Lib Dem on the Peach ballot paper, voters in West Lothian can send a Lib Dem MSP to Holyrood to demand action from Scottish Government on issues like this. In January, West Lothian Council revealed its most recent call to the Scottish Government for £15 million to meet the final costs of the rebuild of St Kent's remained unanswered.
MSP hails young talent working on energy transition, and this is by Ross Thompson. Linlithgow MSP Fiona Hislop has marked Apprenticeship Week this year by visiting apprentices and staff at a compressor station in West Lothian. The compressor station is a vital part of the national gas network, responsible for transporting gas to homes, businesses, power stations and heavy industry across Scotland and the rest of Britain. They play a vital role in Scotland's energy security and will be essential in the transition to net zero, supporting the Acorn carbon capture and storage project, as well as enabling the future use of hydrogen. Fiona said, "Scottish Apprenticeship Week is a great opportunity to recognise the work of our young apprentices and celebrate the contribution they make in transforming businesses, organisations and communities. It also allows them to gain the skills and talents they need for their chosen industries. I was delighted to meet apprentices at the compressor station, which is responsible for transporting gas to homes, businesses, power stations and play a vital role in Scotland's energy security and drive towards net zero. It was also great to see around the site, meet the local team and hear about their work on resilience, green transition and economic growth." And there's a picture of all the workers in their high-vis uniforms and white hats standing in front of the buildings.
Teenager arrested after blade incident. A West Lothian teenager has been arrested after police received several calls regarding a man in possession of a bladed weapon in a town centre over the weekend. Officers rushed to Livingston Town Centre on Sunday, March the 1st, after several reports were made by members of the public. A 19-year-old man has since been arrested. The teenager was remanded in custody and appeared at Livingston Sheriff Court on Monday. Police say inquiries into the incident are ongoing and thank the public for reporting the matter. They wrote in a statement, "Following several reports of a male in possession of a bladed weapon at Livingston Town Centre on March the 1st, we can confirm that a 19-year-old male was arrested in relation to the incident. He was subsequently remanded in custody following his appearance at Livingston Sheriff Court on March the 2nd. Inquiries are continuing into the incident."
And that brings us to the end of part 3. Welcome back to part 4. We'll start with the answers to the quiz, then continue with some general news and finally some sport. Right, let's see how you managed. Number 1. Who directed the 1996 film Trainspotting? And the answer is B. Danny Boyle. Number 2. Which country beat France in the final of the 2006 FIFA World Cup? And the answer is A. Italy. Number 3. Heraklion is the capital of which Mediterranean island? The answer is C. Crete. Number 4. What is zucchini the American word for? And the answer is A. Courgette. Number 5. Which singer reached the top of the UK singles chart in 2004 with Mysterious Girl? And the answer is B. Peter Andre. Number 6. What is the capital city of the Philippines? And the answer is B. Manila. Number 7. The adjective ophidian relates to which type of creature? And the answer is A, snake. Number 8. Which American golfer was nicknamed the Hawk? And the answer is A, Ben Hogan. Number 9. Which king was the paternal grandfather of Elizabeth II? And the answer is C, George V. And finally, number 10. Which character in Coronation Street is played by Alan Halsall? And the answer is A, Tyrone Dobbs. And our word, the first word, La Volta, means an ancient dance. And the other word, carouse, means to drink freely and noisily. Can you use them today in a sentence and impress people? And now back to the general news. This item is headed, Amond staff hailed in new home awards. Amond Valley Care Home in Livingston has been recognised as one of the top 20 care homes in Scotland. The carehome.co.uk Top 20 Care Home Awards 2026 recognise the top-rated care homes in each region of the UK, based on reviews from residents and their families. This year's awards were determined from over 119,000 reviews received between February 2025 and February 2026. Amond Valley Care Home's inclusion in the top 20 highlights its continued commitment to delivering outstanding, person-centred care and creating a warm, supportive environment for residents. Home manager Maggie Allison said, "We are absolutely delighted to be recognised as one of Scotland's top 20 care homes for 2026. This award means so much because it's based on feedback from our residents and their loved ones. It is a testament to the dedication, compassion and professionalism of our entire team, who go above and beyond every single day." The carehome.co.uk Top 20 Care Home Awards are among the most respected accolades in the care sector, as they are based purely on independent reviews from those who matter most, the people who live in and experience the care provided. And there is a lovely photograph of all the women who work in the care home.
Specialist eye service is so vital. People across West Lothian with visual impairments are set to benefit from a new community low vision service, CLVS, allowing more patients to receive specialist care closer to home. The national service will support patients whose sight cannot be fully improved through glasses, lenses or surgery. Instead of attending hospital appointments, eligible patients will be treated by accredited community optometrists. The service will provide specialist eye assessments, practical advice and low vision aids such as magnifiers and specialist lighting. Patients will also be signposted to wider support services, including mental health and social care where appropriate. The rollout of the community low vision service is backed by a record £144 million investment in community eye care in this year's draft budget. Angela Constance, MSP for Amond Valley, said, "This new service is an important step forward in making sure people in West Lothian can access expert eye care closer to home. For many patients, particularly older people and those living with long-term conditions, travelling to hospital can be challenging. Being supported by a trusted local optometrist will help people maintain their independence while receiving the specialist care they need. Their investment strengthens the vital role of community optometrists and builds on the success of existing services while helping to ease pressure on our hospitals. The Community Low Vision Service will build on Scotland's existing community glaucoma service and anterior eye service. When fully operational, these community services are expected to support around 40,000 people locally rather than in hospital settings. Scotland is the only part of the UK to provide free universal NHS-funded eye examinations, helping with early detection of both sight-threatening and wider health conditions.
Dogs Trust Pet for the Week. And this is an article about Give a Dog a New Life, and with a lovely picture of a French bulldog. So Pooch Pepper is looking for family. Pretty Pooch Pepper is still waiting to find her forever family at Dogs Trust West Calder. She is a fun-loving 7-year-old French bulldog looking to be your one and only canine best pal, as she wants all the love to herself. Pepper prefers the quieter side of life. She loves learning new tricks, she's a clever cookie and loves to show this off. She is brilliant at travelling in the car and would adore her being her special someone's adventure buddy. Her absolute favourite thing to do is relax in the sun, so she would benefit from a nice quiet garden where she can live this dream. As much as she loves the sunshine, she also adores wrapping up in a cosy blanket for a long, lazy snooze. Pepper is looking for gentle and understanding owners who can read her body language and are happy to take things at her pace. Pepper doesn't need many friends, just a special few that she knows well. She would succeed in a quiet household with few visitors, as she can be worried by strangers. She is fine to be left home alone for a few hours and is happy to settle independently. Pepper is looking for an adult-only home and must be the only pet in the home, as she can be worried around other animals. Pepper can be unsure of new people, so she likes to build a bond before she shows you her affectionate and charismatic nature. She saves her sparkling personality for her best friends. If you're interested in adopting this perfect pooch, please get in touch with the team at Dogs Trust West Calder or pop along to meet them. Dogs Trust West Calder is open for general browsing on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday from noon to 4 p.m. and by pre-arranged appointments on Wednesday and Friday mornings. To find out more about all the pooches patiently waiting to be adopted at the Dogs Trust West Calder, visit www.dogstrust.org.uk/West Calder.
The next article is by Ross Thompson. The headline reads, Energy bills for homes remain at a historic high. West Lothian households are still paying over £500 a year more for gas and electricity than they were before the energy crisis hit, despite a fall in the price cap. Energy regulator Ofgem announced last week that the cap on what suppliers can charge will fall from £1,758 to £1,641 from April the 1st. This is a 7% fall on the current level and will see the average bill fall by £117 per year. However, latest forecasts suggest that the price cap is set to rise again slightly in July. The new price cap is still £503 more than the amount that households were being charged before the energy crisis hit in the autumn of 2021. Advice Direct Scotland, which runs the National Energy Advice Service, energyadvice.scot, is urging anyone worried about energy-related debt to contact its team of experts, who can provide free, impartial and practical advice. It is also urging all households to review how much they are paying and check whether there are better tariffs available. The charity said the persistently high cost of gas and electricity underlined why the UK needs a social energy tariff, which could put the most vulnerable customers on the cheapest deals. Eligibility for such a tariff would be determined by a variety of metrics. Craig Tobin, Head of Business Development Impact at Advice Direct Scotland, said, "A fall in the energy price gap will be cold comfort for the thousands of households across Scotland who have been struggling to pay their heating and electricity bills over the winter. Many have been building up debts to their energy suppliers, with other increases to the cost of living heaping pressure on already stretched domestic budgets. The fact is that people are paying hundreds of pounds per year more than they were before the energy crisis hit, with sky-high bills becoming normalised. That is why we have been calling for the introduction of a social energy tariff, which would give the more vulnerable people access to the cheapest deals. For now, customers can take practical action by examining their bills, finding out how much they are paying, and checking if there are cheaper options available with other suppliers. Taking regular meter readings and checking the level of your direct debit are as important as ever. If you have a smart meter, ensure that it is working. The most important thing to remember is that nobody should struggle alone, and help is available. Anyone experiencing difficulties should visit www.energyadvice.scot or call 0808 196 8660 for assistance.
And now for some sports news. And the first two are some short items. First one is Top Pro Wrestling returning to centre. Live professional wrestling is coming to a West Lothian town in a family-friendly spectacle. PWR Pro Wrestling presents an action-packed evening of live entertainment at Blackburn Partnership Centre on Friday, April the 24th. Running from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m, the event promises a high-energy night of athletic competition, larger-than-life characters, and interactive fun suitable for all ages. Following a successful students' showcase at the venue late last year, PWR Pro returns with a full main show featuring established stars from the UK wrestling scene. Headlining the event, head coach Andy Roberts will face former WWE star Mark Coffey. PWR Pro Wrestling also have strong roots in West Lothian, with one of their pro wrestling training schools based in Livingston. Early bird tickets are available from £7.95, and tickets are also available by logging on to www.evenbright.co.uk. And the next item is about snakebite. Snakebite is encouraged to take a break. Livingston darts player Peter Wright has been urged to take a break from the sport after yet another early exit on the PDC Tour. Snakebite lost 6-0 to David Sharp in round 2 of Players' Championships 6 last week, and now former pro Chris Mason believes his 2-time world champion needs to take a step back to recharge the batteries. He said of the 55-year-old, "Peter Wright must still be playing to a certain level in practice to put himself through this. I mean, he's earned a fortune. He doesn't need to play, does he? Fair play to him. Many by now would have gone, no, if you're all right, I think I'll have a bit of time off." Maybe that's the solution for him, just to take himself off on a nice cruise for a couple of weeks and forget about it. Then go again. But Wright himself shows no sign of removing himself from the tour, with a short stake away from the Oki. He said, "Obviously, I feel bad for all my fans the way I've been playing. People don't realise that. The thing is, I'm playing brilliantly in practice and it's just not coming out on stage. But I'm keeping going."
It's time to make Scotland proud is the heading for this article by Edel Keneally. Mental health campaigner Craig Ferguson was welcomed to Butte House just days before setting off on the ultimate endurance challenge. Craig travelled to the official residence of Scotland's First Minister for a reception hosted by John Swinney. The event was special recognition of Craig's challenge, which will see him embark on a 3,000-mile trek across the United States of America. Craig flew out to Los Angeles last week and embarked on his first marathon walk. It will be the first of many, as he has pledged to walk a marathon a day for 104 consecutive days, covering 3,000 miles from the Pacific to the Atlantic. The trek will culminate in Boston, where Scotland will take on Haiti in the nation's first World Cup appearance in 28 years. It's hoped the challenge, dubbed the Tartan Trek, will raise £1 million for the Paisley-based charity SAMH, Scottish Action for Mental Health, which delivers mental health services across the country. Speaking following the reception at Butte House, Craig said, "The Tartan Trek is about more than miles. It's about starting conversations. Mental health affects every family, every community, and I'm determined to do something bold to help raise the funds SAMH urgently needs. Walking from LA to Boston will be the toughest thing I've ever done, but if it encourages even one person to seek support or help, fund life-saving services back home in Scotland, every step will be worth it. Craig is no stranger to ambitious endurance fundraising. In 2024, he completed a remarkable 1,000-mile walk from Glasgow to Munich ahead of the Euro 24, passing through 6 countries and raising more than £70,000 for men's mental health charity, Brothers in Arms, before being greeted by cheering fans on arrival in Germany. He was inspired to undertake this journey following his own experience of mental health challenges and in tribute to friends and loved ones in his life who have been affected. First Minister John Swinney said, "It was a great pleasure to hold this reception for Craig. It was an opportunity to recognise everything he has done to support mental health awareness here in Scotland and to wish him good luck before he embarks on his epic tartan trek from Los Angeles to Boston ahead of the World Cup." Craig's walks are so important for publicising the links between physical activity and good mental health. They also raise awareness of the need to talk openly about our well-being, which supports crucial work we undertake in partnership with SAMH. I'm looking forward to following Craig's progress on what will undoubtedly be his toughest challenge yet. He is truly inspiring, and he leaves Scotland to walk across the United States with my very best wishes. The state reception came just days after Craig was invited to lead the Scotland rugby team onto the pitch at Murrayfield. The proud Buddy led the squad onto the field for Saturday's tie against old rivals England. Leading the men's arrival in Murrayfield was an unforgettable experience, he said. The atmosphere, the pride, the sense of unity, that's exactly the spirit I'm hoping to carry with me across America. To follow in the footsteps of icons like Sir Chris Hoy, the McLean brothers and Kenny Logan was incredible, and the game itself was a spectacle, with Scotland going on to beat England to win the Calcutta Cup. Billy Watson, Chief Executive at SAMH, said, "Craig's tartan trek captures exactly what SAMH stands for: courage, compassion, and taking action when it matters most. Mental health challenges affect people in every community, and early support can make the difference between coping and crisis. The funds raised throughout this challenge will help us continue to provide an accessible, community-based mental health support across Scotland, including through initiatives like the Nook." We're incredibly grateful to Craig for taking on this remarkable challenge and for helping ensure that no one has to face mental health issue problems alone. To support Craig's tartan trek or follow the journey, visit www.thetartantrek.co.uk, and there's a photograph of Craig as the guest reception at Bute House beside the First Minister.
And now Livingston FC latest. Mackay aims to home in on safety. New signing put family first with move and is ready for a drop fight. Barry Mackay admits he put family before football after spending 9 months in the wilderness. The winger gave Livingston fans a glimpse of what is to come after capping his debut with an assist on Saturday's 1-1 draw with St Mirren. It has been a long wait to return to action after the 31-year-old's final game for former club Hearts came in November 2024 during an injury-plagued season. And the former Rangers, Swansea and Nottingham Forest playmaker admits he even turned down offers because he did not want to leave his young family, including kids Freddie and Rosie, behind. Mackay said, "Everything happens for a reason, and some things didn't fall into place at the time. I've got 2 young kids, Rosie and Freddie, and some of the stuff that came up I just wasn't prepared to move away from them. They're so young, and it's time that you'll never get back, and I just wasn't prepared to do it. There was interest from abroad and down south, but it just didn't fit at the time. My oldest is 3 and my other one's 10 months. They're both at different stages. When I had my wee girl, I was still playing, so I felt as if I missed a wee bit with her, and then I got a wee bit back while I was off. Same with my wee boy. I didn't miss anything with him, so I'm definitely seen 2 sides of it. Just going back to training again, my wee girl was asking where I am, and that's just for a couple of hours. So if I was away for weeks on end, I don't think I'd enjoy it. I want to go home with them every day, and that's what means the most to me, my family. McKay, who made a second half sub outing at the weekend after joining the Lions last month, added, "Thankfully this came about and I've really enjoyed it since I've come in. It's felt good to get back on the pitch after so long."
It's been really good, and it's been really good for my routine as well. It was a bit tiring to start with, but I got my second wind after a wee while, so that was good. McKay is now hoping to go back up to match fitness as quickly as possible, with Livingston trying to perform an unlikely escape act with 9 games left. McKay's last competitive game before the weekend was in the Conference League defeat away to Belgian side Cercle Bruges in November 2024. On his day at the Jambos, the wide man was capable of terrorising opposition defence, and he is desperate to rediscover that form. McKay added, "I've felt good since I've come in. I feel pretty fit. It's just going to be that max sharpness that I need to get, but the only way you get that is by playing games. It's just good to be back out there and try to get little touches and make sure that you're sharp enough when the time comes." Livingston, who are idle this weekend, remain without a league win since August, but they cut the gap on 11th place Kilmarnock to 7 points. And McKay insists there is no reason why the Lions cannot climb away from trouble. He added, "I think it's a brilliant changing room, and we need to believe that we can get ourselves out of this position. At the end of the day, it's only us that are going to get ourselves out of it. We just need to keep fighting every week and really stick together."
Although that brings us to the end of the news from the Courier, we have an additional item from Heather, chairperson of Boomerang. Boomerang AGM invitation for listeners. The annual general meeting for West Lothian Boomerang Talking Newspaper will be held on Saturday the 14th of March 2026 at 10:30 a.m. until approximately 12:30 p.m. in St Joseph's Church Centre, Rayburn Crescent, Whitburn, EH47 8HQ, and you are cordially invited to come along. Our main speaker this year will be Jennifer Howard Coombs, Chief Executive of Almond Valley Heritage Trust, and after the business part of the meeting is over, refreshments will be served. Please let Heather or Joyce know if you can attend. If you would like to attend and are bringing someone with you, or if you require transport, please inform Heather Smart by calling 07707 830 634, or you can put a note in your next wallet and return it to the studio. We've now come to the end of this week's recordings, and we hope you have enjoyed it. So, until next time, stay safe and stay well.